Hey there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brooke. Thanks for joining. If you're new here, this is a channel where I talk about houseplants and do DIYs on my shorts, so thank you for joining. If you are new here and you haven't yet, subscribe. That would be awesome. That way you can be up to date on all my latest videos. If you are a recurring viewer, welcome back. Thanks so much for watching. Today I'm going to be doing a short video talking about my Epipremnum. I couldn't think of it. My Albo Pothos. Epipremnum, Albo, Pothos, Varigated, whatever you want to call it. So it is right back here. It sits in a southwest facing window. I have had it for several months now. I don't even know, maybe a year actually. And I put it on a moss pole back in I don't know, I'll show a video here or something. But I started putting it on a moss pole. I had 2 plants in one pot and it took to the moss pole very quickly. It's not surprising because pothos are extremely easy to grow and care for, and that has been my experience with this guy. It is one of my favorite plants. It has been so easy and rewarding because it grows so quickly. So I immediately, potted it up, put it on the moss pole, and it outgrew it. So I had to extend it. And when I did, I extended it an extreme amount. And it's already outgrown that. I haven't cut it back yet, but I am not extending the pole anymore because it's very lopsided, as you can see there. And so I am just going to chop it. But I wanted to show the progress of it because it really has grown a lot since I first got the plants. Yes, plants. So let me grab it really quick. Okay, so here it is next to me. And as you can see, it has really taken off and grown a ton to where it can't fit in the camera frame. But maybe I can take it out of this cover pot. So it is just in a grow pot like this. I did not zip tie this down, right? Yeah, no, I didn't zip tie it down or anything. Like, it's just suctioned in there. But it has grown all the way to the very top. And you can see the fenestrations on those guys, and it's so beautiful. So really this one part of the plant, which I know is common, took off before the rest of the plant took off. So it is just one long vine that is going all the way around and up. And so realistically, the rest of the plant is still way down here. Yeah, it's way down here. It's right here. And so I want to chop it back, let the rest of the plant have a chance to catch up with what the one little strand is doing. But I have kept this in a very chunky soil mix. So it's orchid bark, pumice, or perlite, and yeah, a bit of soil. I couldn't tell you what else, but I water it once the soil is completely dry. And again, it sits in a southwest facing window, so it gets good light all day long and bright light because it is sitting right in the window. But the variegation on this guy has been pretty stable. This is an unstable variegation, and so just like your Albo Pothos, or I'm sorry, Albo Monsteras and different popular plants like that, the variegation isn't always going to stay or isn't guaranteed, but this has really done very well. There are a few leaves that are just plain green on here, specifically like some towards the top, some towards the bottom, but it has an overall good pattern, I would say, pattern of growth for white versus green, and it's just a very pretty plant. I got one of the plants from a local shop called Suburban Planters, and then another one from the Tipsy Gardener, who I talk about all the time. I think each of the plants were like $30. They were quite inexpensive for a plant, I would say, like this, but they were much smaller plants. So again, I'll show a video of where they started. This guy's done so well. Very easy to care for. It has adhered into the moss pole, so I do keep this moist. I use a mister or like a pump sprayer. I'll link it in the description below because it's been awesome, and especially for this one because the pole is so large. I was taking it to the sink in my kitchen and spraying it down, and that's just not possible anymore. So it has been a really big help to me, and I've really enjoyed it. It's kind of unnecessary maybe, but it has helped. Pump sprayer too, okay, if you just don't want it to say you have it for your plants. It's good for cleaning. So I figured out, this is going to be like a side, sorry thing. I figured out that you can use a pump sprayer to clean your shower. So we have tile shower, and I don't love cleaning it. It's the first tile shower we've ever had. It's completely complicated. It has little crevices and crannies that I can't get my sponge into. So I took the pump sprayer because I had that thought process, like, wonder if this will work. And it worked. It like cleaned it really well, and it was awesome. And I felt so good about it. So, you know, you can use it as a cleaning thing too, not only for your plants. But anyways, this guy has really taken off. You can see all the pretty foliage down here. Now, again, as it grows up, the white has really become less and less. And I think that's because it's reaching a higher light. Sorry. I think it's because it's reaching a higher light. I have noticed that sometimes on my variegated plants, the more light I give them, the less variegation, like the good variegation they have. So maybe that's someone else's experience as well. I would love it to hear it in the comments. But I have noticed that on this guy, as it reaches up and gets more towards the light, the variegation on it has gone down. I don't mind that so much. Like, it's okay, because again, these white leaves that come out, they're not guaranteed to last, and they usually go before the rest of the leaves do. It's just the way that they are, because they are lacking chlorophyll, which helps the plant to live. And so they are basically useless and they die quickly. But this is also sitting next to my humidifier right there. So I think that helps keep it in line and has helped keep those semi-white leaves around for longer. A few of them have died off, which is totally normal. A few of the original leaves have, like this is one of the original leaves and it's about to go. I did have a leaf that was part of the original plant that had a really good fenestration on it. Like, it was starting to really like lobe out, but it did die, which again, it was one of the oldest leaves. It was probably the oldest leaf actually, but it did produce this one leaf with this funky, like, looks like a knife or something. It's very bizarre, like a shark, but did produce that. It has not produced anything like that since. It has produced all these small fenestrations, small fenestrations along the way. Like, this is a beautiful leaf, but nothing major at all whatsoever. So I am going to stop talking about this and just chop it back. Now, yeah, this is going to be fun. So here you can see, maybe, yes, that it has attached itself into the moss pole. And so I am going to cut like way back here and keep like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 leaves. 7th is on its way to propagate. So we're going to chop it. Just taking my handy dandy clippers, and I'm just going to set it like this and chop it right here. Now I'm chopping it all the way back to the leaf. I'm chopping it all the way back to this leaf right here. So that is that. So now it is chopped. And again, I did this because it's outgrowing it, but I also want it to create a full plant, and I just don't need it to be one long little leggy thing here. So technically you could take this and pot this guy up that's rooted in there like really well into soil, because he's already rooted. And oh, I see it. It's coming out the other side. But I will stick them probably in sphagnum moss for a while, because this isn't as rooted. That one's just got a little aerial root there. But this guy here is also rooted, who you can't see. Let's go up. This one is rooted right here. And oh gosh, it's getting even more difficult. This one here, here, and here. So these new ones have really just rooted in well. Ugh, I'm creating a mess. Oh, okay. So let's go back now. No. Okay, maybe. Okay, so this guy will stay as is. So I've cut all of the foliage from the top. He'll start to grow there, and he'll do wonderful, because again, it's a very fast, easy grower. If you're looking for a variegated plant that you don't have to worry about reverting or like causing issues as far as neediness, I would suggest this plant. It is true Pothos fashion where super easy to care for. I let it dry completely out. You could stick it in probably a little bit lower light situation. Again, I think that the variegation on it might start to produce more white patches than like cream and stuff here, or just green, but has been a really easy grower. I really love this plant. I think I've said it before in a video. This and my variegated Burley Marks philodendron would probably be two plants that I would be saddest to lose, but I have not had any issues with this guy pest-wise, fungus gnat issues-wise. It's just been a really easy to care for plant. So beautiful. Let's stick it back in its pole, or in its pot. And then this guy I will chop up right here. So these are the newest leaves. You can see the fenestrations on those. Smallest little guys, like barely anything, but you can see what I'm saying about how the variegation on them have become like less white patches and more just green. You can see here like the bottom ones are pretty white and not cream. They're pretty well defined white patches, but you can see the root structure on this guy. The aerial roots have really dug in, and so I will just chop them up in those areas. You can even chop them up here, and yeah, to these two places, because it did start to put off a runner, and then it's crowded out these guys up here. But you could technically cut these three right here and propagate them using the wet stick method, which is where you just cut this and like in between, stick them in sphagnum moss in a covered dish or covered like container, and then place them in a really bright spot, keeping the sphagnum moss pretty moist throughout the entire time, and eventually they will start to sprout leaves. Yes, it will take quite a while. However, wow, that was cool. It will take quite a while. However, I have noticed that Pothos seem to produce like leaves off of wet stick propagations faster. We got something going on. So anyways, that's it. So I'm going to just chop them here and chop them here. Oh yeah, chop it here. So I've got this little guy, I've got this guy. I'm going to leave him together. It's totally fine. And then I have this like leaf right here. This is not necessary, so I'm just going to chop there. And I have him that I will propagate, and then maybe I will try the wet stick propagation on this. I have done it for my Pothos Enjoy, and I have done it on my Melanochrysum, which I stuck in a tub with a Monstera adansonii cutting, and it ended up getting spider mites. Awesomeness. Like the adansonii, I just don't enjoy, and yeah, that's been happening a lot, but this light situation. Anyways, but I never got to see those, whether or not they would produce, but I did do it with a Monstera stanleyana albo, and it produced probably the quickest out of all of them through the wet stick propagation method. So I will do the same thing for this, because why not? So thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel so you can see more and keep up to date on this whole process and the light. We'll see you next time.